I have great respect and admiration for Christina Hoff Sommers, but as I listened to her and Milo Yiannopoulos, video linked below, she reminded me of a major disagreement I have with her, that being about the nature of second wave feminism. At about 54 minutes and 45 seconds into the video, she asserted that the hatemongers hijacked the movement and that second wave feminism was good. Eric Hoffer would, I believe, disagree with her on the first, and history disagrees with her on the second. Christina sees herself as a second wave feminist, yet from its very beginning the second wave was dominated by liars and misandrists. Before the McDworkinites rose within the ranks of the second wave, there was Betty Friedan, who, to put it charitably, grossly exaggerated the bad condition of American women to sell her book, The Feminine Mystique, which contended that most American women, most American housewives living in the suburbs were suffering from the feminine mystique, a malady that had no name, but which she was describing was clinical depression. Hogwash. It was all hogwash. Feminist lies. In 1966, Friedan founded the National Organization for Women, which spread plenty of misinformation well before its descent into blatant bigotry under Patricia Ireland, starting in 1991. Valerie Solanas famously wrote the Scum Manifesto in 1967. That was before she shot Andy Warhol. Robin Morgan's anti-male career began in 1967 when she became a founding member with Shulamith Firestone and Pam Allen of the New York Radical Women. Shulamith Firestone published the overtly Marxist diatribe against men and marriage, The Dialectic of Sex, in 1970. Kate Millett's misandristic screed, Sexual Politics, was published in 1970. Germaine Greer, whose feminism meanders all over the map depending upon her mood, also published The Female Eunuch in 1970. Gloria Steinem founded the always angry and indignant Ms. Magazine in 1972. In 1973, Patricia Schroeder was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. Toward the end of her career, she bragged that all she had to do to get a law passed was to claim that it would help women. In 1991, during the Clarence Thomas, Anita Hill debacle, she famously crowed her sexist slander, "Men just don't get it." Ha! In 1975, Susan Brown Miller published her book, Against Our Will, in which she portrayed all men as rapists. Other misandrists from the 1960s going into the 1970s included Mary Ellman, Adrienne Rich, Simone de Beauvoir, Andra Medea, Kathleen Thompson, Barbara Leon, Dorothy Dinnerstein, and yes, Andrea Dworkin, who was herself an early member of the second wave of feminism. This is just a quick sampling of feminists from the 1960s and 70s who railed against men, and they were and are foundational to the most vitriolic hate-mongers who rose during the decades that followed. Hence, the misandry of the third and fourth waves of feminism grew out of the misandry of the second wave of feminism. This was no hijacking, but, as I think Eric Hoffer might contend, a natural progression of a mass movement as it attracted an ever-growing number of fanatics whose very identity depended on, and continues to depend on, hate. That is, on blaming men for the gaping chasm devoid of meaning in their lives, and making men into demons to be destroyed. As Eric Hoffer wrote in The True Believer, quote, "Hatred is the most accessible and comprehensive of all the unifying agents. Mass movements can rise and spread without belief in a God, but never without a belief in a devil." Close quote. Were there a lot of well-meaning women in the second wave of feminism? Absolutely. But misandry marked the most dominant voices, and this hatred of men was a natural progression that is followed by mass movements. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, I have a great deal of respect for Christina, and I truly value her work, so please don't take this as criticism of her. It's just a point of disagreement. One other thing she said at 1 hour, 3 minutes that caught my attention really underscores how differently women and men experienced and continue to experience the second through fourth waves of feminism. She observed that there has been a, quote, secret war, close quote, against male sexuality. It may not have been publicized, but I became aware of the feminist war on male sexuality in 1988. And I think most American men started to become aware of it in 1991 when Anita Hill very publicly tormented Clarence Thomas for making a joke about a pubic hair on a can of Coca-Cola. Do I think he made such a joke? Yes. Do I think that should disqualify him from serving on the Supreme Court? No. But, strong, powerful woman that she is, Anita Hill felt that she was irreparably harmed by it. Poor baby. Evidently she was right, as she was not only helped in her career by Justice Thomas before all of that, but she was catapulted to fame and lucrative speaking engagements following her shameful public display of what Dr. Sommers calls fainting couch feminism. Most women may have been unaware of this war on male sexuality, but after the Thomas Hill spectacle, it should not have been a secret to men. And it definitely should not be a secret now. As Milo said during their talk, MGTOW, men going their own way, is one consequence of this. About Milo. While I have followed his writing for several months and enjoy it, this was the first time I got to listen to him speak at length, and I now understand why he has gained such a following. The man is truly eloquent, well-versed on the issues. He's utterly likable, which is a tremendously valuable asset for someone who can turn on a dime and absolutely scorch the opposition into dumbfounded silence with a barrage of unassailable facts and insights. Wow. And oh look, he has his own YouTube channel, I should have known. Subscribed and linked below. For the Backlash at Backlash.com, my name is Rod Van Mecklin.